over the line. Sweet Jesus. It is NH Unscripted. I have words for my loyal listeners in the wonderful, immortal words of blood, sweat, and tears. You make me so very happy. You make me so very happy, baby. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year. I am your blood, sweat, and tears-soaked host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the incredibly opulent digs of the WKXL studios in Concord. Hang on, let me get on my transistor radio to make sure you can find us correctly. Let's see. Yes, if I'm on the AM band, you are listening to us on 1450. Let me flip the dial here. Yes. Check. 103.9 FM in Concord. And for you happy, blessed souls down in Manchester, 101.9 FM. And for those of you who need a URL, NHTalkRadio.com. I'll give you some more information about that later. I do need to take a moment to thank my sponsor. That would be Lakes Region Fence in Concord. Their URL is lrfence.com. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to Matt and all the crew up there. I'm telling you the truth. If you need a fence, and this is no lie, you got to go out to lrfence.com, click on the Get a Free Estimate. Matt and his crew, they'll get back to you. They are busy. Dude, they do pool fences. They do property line fences, commercial stuff. They do horse corrals, and they don't cheap out. None of that junk from the big box stores. They get their stuff. That's real. It's high quality, and they're busy. I was trying to get Matt in here for the last show, I think, for the year, which will be in a couple of days for me. Yeah, no, he can't make it. You know why? They're busy. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. They're booked out through April. If you need a fence, dude, get off your butt. Give them a call. They'll call you back. Unlike some plumbers that I know who don't call you back. That's another story for another day. Anyway, thank you, Matt. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. In studio with me is a good friend. He cut out some time today to come by and chit-chat. Two old guys just tossing it around. George Kelly, how are you, my friend?
Very well, thank you. The irrepressible Ray Dudley.
Hey, they tossed me a microphone and said, do this.
Yeah, like Rudy Giuliani, you can't go buy a mic.
I'm telling you.
Good for you.
I'm telling you. How are you? You're looking great.
Fine. Well, it's great to be here. Yeah. Great to be with you.
Yeah.
You may or may not know out there, Ray's a wonderful actor.
Thank you.
I've worked with him a few times, and he's superb. Best there is.
Check in the mail, baby. Check in the mail. Thanks.
That's right.
So I have a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about.
Sure.
Let's start let's go back in time a bit here. And I would put you down as a writer and director. Mm-hmm. Would you say you lean more one way than the other? You love to write. Is that correct?
Oh, I find writing difficult. I love to do it. It's just hard. I've had more experience directing than writing, but the writing to me is the most rewarding. That's something I just absolutely love.
Have you always been a writer? I mean,
no. Actually, I was in high school. I'm sorry to say this because I was a high school teacher for many years, but I was turned off from writing by teachers who told me I couldn't write. They basically some,
What?
There was some. I had a fifth grade teacher who just really destroyed any impetus I had to write at all. I just thought I was a terrible writer. She told me I was a terrible writer. And
wow, how to build a kid up, huh?
I just stopped. And my senior year in high school, a teacher that I had renewed my faith by saying, I think you have some talent. And she put me on the school newspaper, and that changed things. Then I went to college, and I was told again I didn't know how to write from my freshman English teacher. So that turned me off again. Then when I left college and went to graduate school, I was a little bit better at it. I know how to play the game. But I just didn't want to write at all. And then the Concord Monitor actually asked me if I'd be interested, because I was doing a lot of plays, asked me if I'd be interested in doing, criticism, some theater criticism. And I said, well, give it a whirl. And I reviewed a play, and the whole, bunch of people who were working at the Monitor, they loved it. They said, this is great stuff. Could you do some more?
When was this?
More? Oh, this is way back, maybe in the 80s.
Before the printing press?
Yeah, about the Guggenheim, when the Gutenberg when it came out. I was there, right there for that. And so then the rest was, I was doing that. Then I became kind of a nasty critic and wised up and realized that doesn't help anybody or help a theater. So I began to modify things, and I was much better off. And then that gig kind of ended. And then later on, after directing lots of plays, I just put my head into writing, and I'm in a group, Granite Playwrights.
Yeah.
And we went from there. That's all. Just been going at it, yeah.
All those years you were told that you weren't any good. Were you still writing, like closet writing and keeping them? But
no, I would write, a few phrases, something like that, but thinking, I'd get an idea.
Yeah.
And that's as far as it would go. It'd just be an idea. That would be about it. I was very busy, but at the same time, there was this thing in the back of my head that said, you really can't write. You don't know what you're doing.
And that's terrible.
And it was awful, yeah. Well, a teacher, having been a teacher and a school principal, I can tell you, teachers every day can make or break a kid. They can make them or break them,
that's
one
sad,
or the other.
Man. That is
I used to
really
tell all my teachers, everybody, my supervised, I'd say, make sure you understand that every day you influence the children that are in front of you. And you can say something that will set them off for forever. And I used to tell that story. Yeah.
Wow, you could bury someone that way.
Yep. I was buried for a long time. And then suddenly, I guess what I was true to was my own style. And for better or worse, if people didn't like the style, which most of them didn't for a while, didn't stop me. I just really felt that was my style. That's the way I speak, or that's the way I write. And then when I started doing the theater criticism, I got a lot of compliments, and of course it spurred me on.
Mm-hmm.
And so I became much more interested in writing.
So how would you define your style? What does that mean, your style?
Well, I think it's probably conversational. It lends itself to theater. It doesn't lend itself to a novel or poetry. I can't write poetry. Songwriting, I play the guitar. I'm in a group, and we have a wonderful time, but no one in the group, we're all covers. I just simply can't write a song. I've tried. I can't.
No kidding.
But I can write plays. I can do that. Yeah. So I would say it's conversational, if anything. It just lends itself to theater.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Yeah.
So how many plays have you actually written that have been performed?
Probably 10.
What?
10 of them.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
All locally, or have they been done outside?
All over. Well, I've had some real good luck in Connecticut, to tell you the truth. There's a place down there in Torrington. It's called the Warner Theater. It's Jack Warner of movie fame.
Yeah.
He had built a theater there when Torrington was a really going concern, a real industrial place. But he built a theater, a huge theater for to try his movies out in. And they restored the thing to $20 million, restored it. It's magnificent. It's a beautiful place.
Wow.
So they accepted me 3 different times down there for a piece. I've done some stuff in Massachusetts, done some stuff of course, in Concord. So it's wherever anybody can take it.
So are you just letting them have the script, or and they're kind of under the auspices of maybe they'll work it, and hone it?
Yeah, I send it to them.
Yeah.
And you have to look and see if they're putting out a call for scripts.
Okay.
If they are, I send it and hope for the best. The problem with this always for any writer is, for a script writer or anybody that's doing plays, is you send it off and then you may not hear a thing.
Yeah.
Ever. You don't know what's going on, and then suddenly, this has happened to me before. Someone will call or send something to me. We've accepted your play. I don't even remember sending it.
Dang. Hang on to that thought, George. You hear that music? That means it's time for Pigs in a Blanket or fondue, because it's the holiday season. Merry Christmas. You are listening to NH Unscripted. I am your getting better looking by the moment host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from 1450 AM, 103.9 FM Concord, 101.9 FM Manchester. That's WKXL, baby. And NHTalkRadio.com. George Kelly is with me in the studio. We got a lot to chat about. We'll be back after our Pigs in a Blanket. Back to NH Unscripted. I am your lovable, huggable host, Ray Dudley. And did you know it's not unusual to be loved by anyone? It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. Yeah, that's why we're here. It's why we live. It's why we exist. George and I are wiping off the juice from our meatballs that were steamed and cooked in grape jelly and barbecue sauce. I love the holidays. George, you love the holidays?
It's bittersweet for me.
Come on. We are coming to you from the spacious digs of the bunkers of the WKXL studios in Concord, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, 101.9 FM in Manchester. And if you really like this show, and come on, I know you do. I see you smiling. You're even winking at me. I know. You can find this show live Wednesdays and Fridays, 9 a.m. Or you can go to NH Talk Radio. You can listen to us live out there. We stream around the world. Yeah, people, I get letters all the time. Maybe not all. Well, okay, maybe I don't get any. But from listeners who want to see my beautiful face, go out there. The archives are out there. George. How you doing, my friend?
I'm okay.
That's why I'm
trying to calm down here. Okay, go ahead.
Ain't happening. Did you? I want to talk to you a little bit more about writing. And then you said to me the other day, you're going to New York, right?
Yes.
Are you going to New York City?
Yes.
Okay, hold on, because I'm going to be going there too. So I want to get some tips from you. Writing. What piece of advice would you give to, let's say, a playwright, someone who wants to write plays? And I want to talk to you a little bit about the Granite Playwrights. Is that the name of the group?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'd say write about what you know, and that isn't the easiest thing to do. Sometimes we think we know something about a particular subject that we're writing about, and we really don't. We've got maybe 6 or 7 sentences or a page of dialogue, and then we run out of ammo because we really don't know what we're talking about. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I'm just simply saying you've got to investigate and find what it is, the essence of what it is that you know. If you know, and then that becomes the impetus to write, and that's your subject. That's
so is that different than writer's block?
No, writer's block's a whole other thing. I think writer's block is you just come up against something, and you simply can't come up with any words or anything. Writer's block may occur because, and I think that happens because you run out of ideas because you really don't know what you're talking about. And I don't mean it disparagingly.
I get that. Yeah,
you don't have enough knowledge about what it is that you're writing about. So you have to search around and find out, what is it that you know. And I think what happens is, you go internally to something that's affected you in your life. If that happens, then you can make fiction out of it, nonfiction. You can do anything that you want because you really kind of know what's going on. But there have been many times I've tried to write something that just doesn't seem to work, and I'll blame it on writer's block, but it's not that. What it is I don't know. I really don't know enough about what I'm talking about.
Wow. So, so, man, oh man, that's good. That's really good. I like that. See, this is the mechanics. When we started NH Unscripted originally, my whole point was to get people to know the people who make the shows happen. The writers, the directors, the choreographers, the people who build the sets, all of that. And because I wanted to know the mechanics. Right? We all see them perform, and then we kind of go away. So I love the mechanics. What have you had any plays that you're especially proud of, or are you still kind of like going through the process of?
No, I really don't make a lot of judgment on like what's my favorite. It might be what's the latest play that I've done.
Yeah,
and that comes from
you really don't have a favorite that really
not particularly. There is one that I am unfortunately, as you probably know, the Hat Box in town.
I wanted it. Yeah. Thank you.
They're going to be out in January, and I have a play, a big one. It's a full-length drama that I've worked on for years, and it was slated to go, but in April, but they have to leave in January, so we're looking around hard for another place, and I don't know if we'll find one in time, or we could maybe reschedule it. But the problem that anybody faces is you've got to be known, or the play has to be known, because people are trying to make money.
Right.
And so I have a play that nobody knows about, and I need a venue for it. Hatbox has been perfect. I've had 6 or 7 plays produced there, which is great. But yeah, it's usually, I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It's the one I've spent the most time on. And it has to do with it has to do with a murder that actually took place in Pembroke. A young lady, 17-year-old, Josie Langmaid, was on her way to school, to Pembroke Academy, and she was attacked, raped, dismembered, murdered. There's a big monument that nobody seems to know anything about down there that the town put up. It's right opposite the, I think it's called Three Rivers School. It's the middle school. Across the street, there's this monument that's there, very grisly monument, typical Victorian. There are little pieces of stone around it. Stone says her head was found 50 rods this way. Her torso was found 50 rods this way. It's pretty grisly stuff, and it fascinated me when I discovered it. I actually found a book on this that was a librarian was hoarding it, and I said, "What's that?" And so I just started reading it, and that just started the fascination with me. And this man was tried and convicted and hung.
Wow.
For it. So it's a trial, is what it is. And it has, even though it takes place in 1875, it has contemporary implications. Bigotry, all kinds of things. The community at that time were very suspect of the French Canadians who were here cutting wood, and they were imported from Canada, alien, typical stuff.
Yeah,
they hated them because they were Catholics and they were French, Canadian, and it was pretty much a WASP, area.
Yeah,
and they resented them, and of course this murder, with this man, they tried to hang him. And a sheriff stopped them at the door. This is pretty good stuff. And so I researched it.
TV show.
I researched it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I've got I had it all down, and I finally, it was one of those hit and miss things. I kept trying to write it, and it was no good. And I put it in a drawer, and no good. So this is years' work. And then suddenly somewhere in the winter, I just pulled it out of the drawer to read it, and it clicked.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I said, change this, and it was all set. So, and it was accepted, to put on. I hope we get a chance to do it, because it's I think I'm pretty proud of it. I like that.
So you and the Granite Playwrights were really impacted by the Hatbox shutdown
in a tremendous way. Yeah. What we are doing is we're writing original stuff.
Yeah.
Which we like. And I've directed so many plays for so many years, I just welcome something new to try. And, of course, my partner, Alan Lindsay, is also a playwright. He's very good at what he does. And so we bounce stuff off from each other and keep going. We're the last survivors of there were 35 people in our group once. We split for 15, around there because the group was too big. And from 15, we're down now to 2. Two. That's it. Alan and myself.
What?
That's it. Yeah,
2?
that's it.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Wow,
yeah.
I thought there were like 5 or 6 or 7 of you.
Used to be, but no more. No, we're down to 2. I mean, what happens is, I think people burn out of it.
Oh.
They can't seem to come up with something, so it kind of flake off. I can't make it. And Alan and I have been really, committed to doing what we can and what we like to do. And we both have ideas that we want to write about, and we bounce them off each other and see what happens. I also send my scripts to other people, people who I respect, who will give me an honest opinion.
Yeah.
They'll say,
I was going to ask you
this was
about
good
that.
or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll I think you need a lot of input, but at the same time, you have to be true to what it is that you think you want to do. Sometimes the criticism can it's out of control.
Yeah,
It's just somebody wants to change your play completely, and you have to say, no, wait a minute, that's not what I want.
Hang on, put a tack in that. Woo! Man, we are rolling today. You are listening to NH Unscripted. I am your happy to be out of the home host, Ray Dudley. No mashed bananas for me, baby. It's fondue and chicken and a biscuit crackers today because it's the holidays. We are coming to you from the never overly ostentatious digs of the WKXL studios in Concord, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, 101.9 FM in Manchester, and the URL where you can get us 24 hours a day, nhtalkradio.com. We're coming back. I want to talk to George about New York City. Hang on. Listeners, hang on, let me put down my waffles, my Eggo waffles. Yeah, I sneak them all in here, I got a little thing out there in the hallway that I tend to dip into. Contains my manwich sandwiches and a few other items. You are listening to NH Unscripted. I am your happy to be out of bed host, Ray Dudley. We are coming to you from the mountaintop studios of WKXL 1450 AM, 103.9 FM in Concord, 101.9 FM in Manchester, our URL. For those of you who like to stay up to 2 or 3 in the morning just finding things to listen to, nhtalkradio.com. That is where you'll find the archives for this show, as well as all of the other programs here at our little happy home at WKXL. George Kelly, my friend, is in the studio with me. We were talking about one subject, but I'm gonna I do want to find out though, George, if the Hatbox cannot recover, what happens to you guys? Because you need a home. The playwrights need a home, right, especially for new material.
Exactly. There are, theater companies in the state and everywhere, in Massachusetts, all over New England. I kind of send my stuff to all over New England. And, it's much more difficult. They don't know me, and you'll send a script in and other people are doing the same thing. There'll be a call for scripts, and you send them in. Well, you could be, for instance, one of my plays was accepted in Connecticut. There were 250 entries.
What?
They put on 7 plays. One of them was mine. And
I mean, that's an honor, but dude, that's
Yo, that's a hard gig. Yeah, it's difficult to
Yeah, understatement.
to break through
Oh, my
because
God.
they're and I think they probably read them very quickly. And if it's something, I mean, there are a number of factors you don't know anything about, like what is their appeal? What kind of shows do they like to put on? That sort of stuff, and that all plays into it. So you might have yourself a really good script that they don't want to use because of the subject matter or something like that. They don't feel it's something that they want to try. It isn't funny enough. It isn't timely enough. There are all kinds of factors you don't know anything about.
That's too bad.
So what we have to do is just send them out and hope for the best. And it's a tough thing because you don't. You never know what's going to happen. You just don't know. And you can go, dry for a long time. You just have to keep trying. That's all. I think the best thing, what I've found is I'll sometimes call a theater and ask them, I've sent you 3 different scripts. I was just wondering, if there was something that particularly that you were interested in at all. And they'll sometimes give you some feedback if they remember your script. If they don't remember it, I mean, if you're one of 250 entries, they don't necessarily.
How do you
who
stand
are you?
out?
That's right,
Man,
That's
oh,
right.
man.
So I was overjoyed, the times I've been accepted, but there are that many writers who are sending stuff in. This international playwrights thing in Connecticut that I was a part of, they get it from all over the world. The 7 plays that were produced, I was the only one. No, there were 2 of us. One guy was from Texas, from me, from New Hampshire. The other, Australia, Germany,
What?
all over.
Really?
Yeah, it's a wonderful festival, but it's tough to get in. I got in there twice, and then one of my plays, they chose to represent the state of Connecticut in the regional, in New England regional, and we came in second to another piece. And did fine. I mean, they did a wonderful job with it. It was great. It was perfect.
Wow.
Yeah. They really high quality production.
Do you ever have any reluctance seeing something that you've written come alive on stage?
No, anticipate it with great joy and hope. My feeling is for the actors. The best compliments I've ever received are people who say it's on the page. I worked hard with it, but it was all on the page, which tells me the writing was true. If someone said I had, or if they looked difficult, having a difficult time up on stage, that's my fault. If the words are there, a professional actor, which these people are, will interpret it. And it's fine, and that's the biggest compliments I've ever gotten is we love the play, blah blah blah. That's nice, but when somebody says it was all on the page, I understood this character. That's then you're all set.
Yeah, coming as an actor, I can appreciate that because there are times when you really struggle trying to get to memorize something, and then there's other times when you're like, dude, this is just a conversation that I would be having with anybody, and I can follow the flow of this.
Yeah.
It's really easy. Yeah. And you're not even hardly memorizing it. It's you talking to the guy next to you or whatever.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, if it's strained or if it's tough to understand, just who the character is, you've made a big mistake. And, I mean, fortunately, I think once your play is accepted, they're seeing that the dialogue, it is on the page. And then the actors, of course, take over, as you well know. And, the director and the actor, try to come up with it. But anything I've ever seen that is of mine has been done very well. I've been.
Have you ever been
really
surprised by the interpretation of something you've written? That
the only time I'm sometimes, you and I have worked together before, and you know how I'm such a stickler on emphasis and what kinds of things to emphasize. Sometimes an actor will pull something out for emphasis that never even occurred to me. Yeah, and I'll say, "Ooh, that's so much better. That line delivered that way is so much better." Yeah. There was one play that was done in Connecticut that. The cast was just superb, And I looked at this one character was supposed to be a little bit menacing, and he didn't play it that way at all. He played it as very sympathetic, and my God, it was just perfect.
It worked both ways?
Geez,
do you think it worked better that way?
Yeah,
you do.
Better. Yeah, it was much better. I mean, the point was the same.
Yeah,
but it was done, a little bit differently. There was some dialogue. I mean, at one point he had to get to an ultimatum, which he was very good at, but it was much more dramatic because he was so.
Almost underplayed it.
Yeah, underplayed the whole thing, and then suddenly, bang! This is an ultimatum that you have
That's
to do.
somebody who
Nice
knows
job.
their craft, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
somebody who
That's
really
good
understands.
stuff.
Jeez.
Really
You
good
got
stuff.
anything you're working on now that you're hoping to, besides the Pembroke?
Well, I'm trying to. I keep looking at that just to see, tweak it here and there.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I'm a little bit of a lull. I've been thinking about some other stuff, but I'm searching around. What do I know?
Yeah,
What is it that I know?
Golf.
And I'm going to try.
You know golf.
Yeah, I know golf.
You golf.
That isn't going to work. Maybe I don't
Is that
know
because
that.
your
I've been
game's
playing it
that
all my
bad?
life. Yeah, I've been playing all my life. Maybe it hasn't worked out. But no, nothing. I'm just kind of. I was disappointed that. This play is not.
Yeah.
It's been canceled pretty much. It actually hasn't been canceled yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to find it. It may get postponed if we can find a place, and I'm just hoping that.
I know Andrew was looking over that place near the prison.
Yeah, area
but
or
I haven't.
something.
Yeah, but I haven't heard any more. I don't.
I haven't either. That was you were at the meeting that we had, and there were some suggestions. I really want to see the artistic director at Kimball Jenkins. I'd like to get on and talk with her.
Yeah.
Just to see.
They have room down there to stage a play?
The Carriage House.
I didn't know that.
Oh, my God.
Is it a theater?
Oh, no, but it'd be perfect.
Yeah?
And I knew Carolyn Jenkins. She was into theater in a big way. She was a casting director in New York City. And she also, she lived, that was her estate. Her parents owned that. And she left it to the city. And, they've got there's an art museum there. But I can easily say, she would have absolutely loved a theater there. Because her main emphasis was theatrical.
Yeah.
It was really,
I've
really
seen
good.
the artworks in there, but I didn't know that there was a room to do.
Well, you'd have
even
to,
a reading.
You'd have to build it over, but I mean, it's the Carriage House is a room, a nice big one, but it's about the size of the hat box. You can put the seats.
It is?
Put the seats and the lights and everything else
Really?
in there. And ready
What
to
is
go.
it doing now?
It's a lecture hall, or it may there may be people working on their art or something like that there. I went and saw a lecture on John Wynant, another person I'm interested in. Speaking of plays, I've done a lot of research on him. He was I don't know if you know him.
I do not. Hang on, my friend. Put a pin in that. The C block. Oh my God, we're going through this left and right. We are daytime believers here at NH Unscripted. I am your host, Ray Dudley. So thankful as we end this year to be the host of this wonderful broadcast. We have to take a moment. We got to pay some bills, and I got to reach in for some Cracker Jacks. Hang on. See if I can find a toy here. We'll be back. Car 54, where are you? I know where you are. You're parked over there in the donut place, listening to NH Unscripted. Lucky soul, you. I am Ray Dudley. Yeah, your donut-eating host. You got that straight. We are coming to you from the spa-like conditions of the WKXL studios in Concord. You can hear us on 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, 101.9 FM in Manchester. Yeah, we got a URL, nhtalkradio.com. Boom. Take that one, baby. In studio with me is my friend, George Kelly. I've known George for quite a while now. Trying to pick his brain. I've been dancing all around this. George.
Yo.
You going to New York City?
Yes.
And are you taking in a show?
I'm not sure. I generally do. I mean, that's one of the principal reasons I like to go. But I like a drama, not a musical. And there isn't not too much. I think The Enemy of the People is still on, and I would go to that.
Is that Ibsen?
Yeah. If
What?
I don't see that, I'll probably just go to museums.
Enemy of the People. Huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it's timely for this day and
Well,
age, that's for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a blast from the past for
Yeah.
me.
Mm-hmm.
We did that years ago when I was in college, and then we took it over to England
Oh,
and did it over there for a little
Nice.
while. Yeah, that was.
yeah.
Oh, my.
Well, it's certainly timely for this day and age. That's for real sure. But the musicals they're okay. I'm just you get musicaled out after a while, and I mean they do. It's fantastic. I mean Broadway's Broadway. That's it. It's the Big Apple has got it all. But there are also other things to do there. Just wandering around is a lot of fun.
You love to go to the museums? Is that?
Oh yeah,
you do.
Oh yeah, the Met and but I love the Guggenheim. That's just
Why?
like a must see.
Yeah.
Well, it's very modern art, which I love. There are some permanent collections in there that Jackson Pollock, and I love that. And the building itself is just something to. It's just
The buildings are
magnificent.
worth going
It's-
for.
Oh my God!
I'm with
it's
you there.
unbelievable. I was in one in Bilbao in Spain, the Guggenheim there, and they're just the architecture alone. Never mind what's in it.
Yeah.
Is incredible, just incredible stuff. When I was there, on the second floor, there was a retrospective of Yoko Ono's, which was, I said, the only reason this is here, I think, is she's got the money.
Oh, no kidding.
And so they got the time. She's a draw.
Yeah.
But, I mean, compared to what else was in that museum, it was, Howdy Doody and Shakespeare. Basically, that's what was going on there. But
my son and I went
it's
to a
interesting.
museum in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, it took up like 3 city blocks. The building.
Yeah,
It's massive.
yeah.
Massive, George. I mean, it took up blocks. The building.
Yeah,
I'm like, how do you build something like this?
yeah.
And then it had unbelievable art.
Oh yeah,
Unbelievable art.
It's something. It's something. Well, right in Boston, because the Museum of Fine Arts there is wonderful,
Yeah, good
and
point.
and I love the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum. That's my
Gardner Museum. I haven't heard that name in years.
Oh my God, that's the beginning of my education.
What?
I was one of those guys you didn't want to see come into class. I was always messing around, joking, having fun, whatever. And my art teacher, I was a terrible artist. I couldn't draw at all, but I had to take that class because I couldn't take the music class because I hadn't taken music and you needed somebody to read music, and it was too late. Anyway, he took 4 of us to Boston. And 4 or 5, something like that. And then they all went to the Museum of Fine Arts, and he took me over to the Gardner Museum. I still don't know why, but he did. And he said, "You go here." And he said, "I'll pick you up in a couple hours right here. Don't leave or anything." And I went in, and I was listening to. I didn't know what it was at the time, but someone was playing classical guitar. And in a consort, and it was just echoing all over this beautiful, magnificent place. And I'm looking at it, saying, I've never seen anything like this in my whole life. It's a Florentine castle. I mean, it's just amazing, owned by one person. I was just picturing her having high tea in the morning, and I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's just magnificent.
It's in the Fens,
looking.
right? The Fens?
Yeah. And so I kept walking toward the music, and there was what I thought was a statue of person just listening with this long black hair. And in those days, women's hair was very short. Long black hair and boots and all this stuff. And I was walking to her, and all of a sudden she turned, and I said, oh, she kind of startled me. Then I just wandered around the place, and when I left, I said, when I was waiting for my teacher to pick me up, I said, I don't know anything. I'm just a stupid, ignorant human being. And I better start doing something, because there's a lot here I don't know anything about. So that's when I started reading an awful lot. And, of course, the more you read, the more you like it.
Yeah.
And on and on.
Didn't they have a famous, weren't they robbed?
Oh, yeah. There were 4 or 5 pieces taken away. There's still, the Isabella Stewart Gardner gave the museum to the city, but with a stipulation that you cannot move anything there unless it's to dust it. All the artwork, everything is just the way she wanted it. The flowers, they'll say, you put these flowers in this month, these flowers in this month. Everything is stipulated. You can't touch a thing. Can't touch a thing. And what happened is the paintings they stole, if you look up on the walls, is just the outline of where the painting was.
They never got them back?
Never. Never. No.
Wow, that is fascinating.
I suspect somebody's got them under lock and key somewhere.
Whitey Bulger?
Yeah. They're somebody private has them. But, yeah, it was just a quick heist. It was real quick. They just they took a razor blade and took them right out of the frames and took them.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. One of them was one piece, I've lost the name, Renoir. One piece of his, it was like the most famous piece of all of them, gone.
Dude, can you imagine if you had those in your home?
Oh, I know. Well,
Dude,
the thing is you
sleep?
can't.
Yeah.
I don't think I think you go deep in some place, and it says there it is.
Yeah,
You know, and you only take your very closest friends.
Oh, my
They've never got them back.
That is just unbelievable.
Yeah, they walked in as policemen, took the stuff and walked out. Nobody knew the wiser.
That's incredible.
Yeah, there's a movie out that I saw. It's a documentary on it.
Really?
Yeah, it's
gotta
This Is a
dig that
Heist or something like
Yeah?
that. This Is a Stick Up. That's what it's called. Yeah, you should watch it. You'd love it.
Heck yeah.
You'd love it.
Oh,
It's
my-
quite a place. But
Dang.
that was the beginning of my education.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing.
Dang. So getting back to New York City.
Yeah.
So I assume then that's where you're going to be headed?
Yeah. Well,
Do you stay in the city?
No, I stay outside the city. My sister lives about 50 miles away in Westport, Connecticut.
Okay.
And I go there with her for Christmas and other times. And we always go in, take the train in, spend the day, come back out. And I meet my New York City cousins. They live there. They live in Brooklyn actually, and we meet for dinner and fun. It's a good time, really good time. Yeah, I look forward to it. I think New York City is a magnificent place.
It's crazy.
It's just wonderful.
If you've
wonderful.
never been there.
Well, people are so afraid.
breathtaking.
They say, "Oh, it's an awful place." To be honest with you, I think the people in New York are friendlier than those in Boston.
Really?
Yeah, people will walk right by you in Boston. It's a New England thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
in New York, if you ask somebody, could you tell me how to get to, they will walk right with you and show you it's down here.
Yeah,
or
and then
go
rob
here,
you.
And do you like my city? And blah, blah, blah. And you see, that's the irony. I've been going for, decades. I have never had a problem with anyone ever in that city. Now, I think... you go down the dark alley at night, well, you're asking for it.
Yeah.
It's your problem. But everyone has always been so friendly, really, really nice. They're nice people. And
Yeah.
I think they have the reputation as they're killers in the street all over the place. Somebody's out to rob you.
Right.
That's just not true. That 99% of the people they're just wonderful. I think they're a lot of fun, and they've got their quirks and everything, but we all do.
You have a quirk?
Just
okay.
2 or 3 here and there. Yeah, like you, you.
Is this true? Have we reached the end? Yummy, yummy, yummy. I got love in my tummy, baby. It is NH Unscripted. I cannot believe the time went by that fast. George, how does that happen?
Well,
How's that happen?
Pleasure talking with you.
Oh, my friend,
You're
thank
a
you
good
so much.
interviewer. You're
Thanks
good
for
at it.
being here.
Yeah.
We are coming to you from the not-so-overly ostentatious bunkers of the WKXL studios in Concord, 1450 AM, 103.9 FM, and for the blessed souls in Manchester, 101.9 FM. Hey, go out to nhtalkradio.com. Go find the archives. What else you got better to do? Huh? You can see my pretty face someday. All right. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas to everybody. We'll see you on the next one.